Hello, and it's me once again, and today I am going to do Plucked from Obscurity, and yes, number 4, and as you can read probably down below or through the thumbnail, I am going to be looking at an album that mostly on this channel I've focused on rock and metal mostly, but today we are going to look at some good old folk rock, especially early 70s folk rock, in Judee Sill's self-titled debut album. Now, it was released September 15th, 1971, first album released on David Geffen's Asylum Records, and it's a good album. Personnel for it is Judee Sill on guitar and vocals, Clyde E. King, Rita Coolidge, Vanetta Fields, and Judee Sill also, I believe, on piano at times. Vanetta Fields on background vocals, Don Bagley, Bob Harris on orchestration, and the ever-famous David Crosby on guitar, and Graham Nash, I believe, did some work only for the song Jesus Was a Crossmaker. Now, Judee Sill is actually a very interesting person if you've ever done research on her and that, but I'm actually going to talk more about that later. But the album was sort of recorded between 69 and 71, which is alright, and it was produced by Henry Louis, John Beck, Jim Pons, and Graham Nash. Yes, the ever-famous Graham Nash. You have 2/4 of the Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young on this album. Now, the song listing is Crayon Angel, The Phantom Cowboy, The R.i.p. Man, however that's pronounced. I know I butchered the shit out of it. The Lamb That Ran Away with the Crown, Lady O, which actually she sold at one point to the Turtles, I believe. And I believe actually the band recorded it. Now, I could be wrong, completely off base on that, but I know she did sell it. Jesus Was a Crossmaker, which I mentioned, Graham Nash, which was more for radio play. Ridge Rider, My Man on Love, Loppin' Around Through the Cosmos, Enchanted Sky Machines, and Abracadabra. Now, this album is absolutely fantastic to listen to. Top to bottom, one of the better albums I've listened to, and actually one of the few folk albums that I could actually say is one of the best folk albums of all time. Now, Crayon Angel, I'll go through each song a little bit. There's not much to say, because really, once you're into folk, there isn't really much to say, because there's not really much difference in each song. It's mostly finger-picked and guitars, and it's usually very minimalistic in its approach. But anyway, Crayon Angels. I like the guitar and the voice. It sounds very peaceful, almost sounds like a harmonica section at times, but it's not like that overbearing blues harmonica. It's very soft, very subtle. And it's also a very beautiful song. Anyone who's heard Judee Sill, she had an amazing voice. The Phantom Cowboy is song number 2. It's a more upbeat song. I like the slowdown in the vocals, then they pick up again. Song number 3, the song I can't really pronounce. It sort of sounds like it's kind of a gospel-y song. Has sort of that country feel to it, nice orchestra parts, and faint slide guitar. I like her incoherent middle section where you can't really understand exactly what she's saying. Song number 4, The Lamb That Ran Away with the Crown, she has such a beautiful voice. Just beautiful. Very catchy song. I love the guitar playing. I love the flute and the background vocals that just make it sound bigger than maybe what it actually is. And that's one thing I love about this entire album, is the orchestra with it is awesome. Song number 5, Lady O, has a nice soft opening. Nice guitar and orchestration sounds very good together. The orchestration adds to the song, same with the background vocals. And this was, I believe, a great... I think the background singers with her really was a nice added touch as well. Because you never, I think, really heard this too much on folk records at the time. Song number 6, Jesus Was a Crossmaker. I love the piano. I love Judee Sill on piano. It has an infectious groove to it. It sounds great every time she is. Nice, beautiful vocals. Slight drums. This is one of the few songs where you actually hear kind of a little bit of drumming on it. Followed by orchestra. It's a very poppy sound also. And it has nice background vocals. And it also kind of has somewhat of what feels like just this It's just a great song. It's infectious, and you that. Song number 7 is Ridge Rider. A nice and slow, nice underneath electric guitar throughout. Has a blues feel to it. Love the orchestra, gives it an interesting feel for blues. Love the harmonica touch, and it fades out. Song number 8, man, I love. I love the vocals on the song. Has a country / gospel feel to it. And I love the background sort of bells-like thing going on there. Number 9, Lopping Around along through the cosmos. I love the lyrics. It's sort of like psychedelic folk, if there is really a thing. I love her, once again, her voice. The orchestra puts a somber mood kind of on the song, which if you listen to it, you'll understand. Song number 10, Enchanted Sky Machines. Nice piano opening, has a blues feel to it. I like the sax parts, or at least that's what I think it is. I love it, the pickup in the song, how it picks up at times, and I really like the ending. Song number 11, final song, Abracadabra, has a nice folk opening to it. I like the background singers. I like how the orchestra builds to a big finish at the end. Now, I'll say this about Judee Sill, is very interesting. She had a very troubled life, spent a lot of time just in prison, or spent time in prison, spent time addicted to drugs, went I'd almost say a girls' rehabilitation center back in the day, and that's where she found piano and gospel and all that. And she really was inspired by people like Bach and I believe Ray Charles, which are two very interesting influences. But it is what it is, and she credits being in prison with getting off of heroin, and she pretty much was also, I believe, said when I read on Wikipedia, was also involved in stuff like robberies, check forgeries, that kind of thing. Prostituted herself out for heroin. Just sad, and died of what I believe I read is a drug overdose, which is kind of sad that her life ended that way in '79. She did one more album after this. I might actually review that one as well. Best song off the album, Beautiful Dream. Oh, wrong. Best song off the album, sorry. Wrong side. For me, it has to be Jesus Was a Crossmaker. Hidden gem off the album, I'd say, is Ridge Rider. I just love that song. Her songs are just beautiful. People have done tributes to her. And yeah, that's pretty much this album. If I had to give it a rating out of 10, I'd give this album, seriously, actually, scratch that, out of 5. I'll do out of 5. I'll give this actually a 4 out of 5. It's an absolutely beautiful album. If you haven't ever listened to it, I suggest buy it. It is worth it. It is one of the best folk albums I've ever heard. But anyway, that's me here once again. Be sure to like, comment, favorite, subscribe down below. Peace.